Hey, to Korea, my friend. The trials are back on their schedule and they're doing good in Eugene, checking a few things that excite me. To Korea here, your channel that updates you on what's rolling in Eugene, 3 hours away. I should be there Saturday to see how it's been. But for that, let's just talk about what I just saw. I saw the 800 meters. The women and the men, I'm talking about not really watching it, but seeing the post-interviews, post-race interviews, and a few names pop up there, and I was interested. I'm a biggest fan of Donovan Brazier. He's making a comeback that I've been talking about. The man was out for 3 years, and he's really excited to be back. He looks like he has a baby face when he spoke. Remember, in athletics, you have only a short window to be as good as you can be. And Donovan Brazier is speaking from a man who has a lot of gratitude, a man who is very thankful to be at the trials. He makes through the rounds. He has a good demeanor about it. He spoke very well about the hardship, relocating to Flagstaff, Arizona, 7,000 feet above sea level. Great altitude, reminds me of Kenya. With that altitude, well, best attitude was unlocked, and this guy is having a good time. It's good to see him. He spoke very well. And by the way, I've been talking about media blackout. This is the best interview I've seen post at an event on a young man. He's 28, so he's matured, well-grounded, very happy to see him speak. He spoke very well. He articulated his challenges. He spoke about being able to recraft himself into the running community in Flagstaff. He wanted to do that for his mentor and his physical appreciation of the sport. That man just makes my heart warm up. Donovan Brazier, I told you, and I hate bragging, this guy will go to the World Championship, and I'm following his career closely because comeback people in injuries and sports, mostly 800 meters, is a delight for me. I like his attitude. I like his emancipated mind. You see, one thing about being free in the mind, you become free in what you do. And I think listening to him and seeing his face, seeing his giggles, seeing his smile, that is what you want to see. And I think I'm happy he went through the rounds. They call it the cobweb rounds, where you just, clear your mind, get it out of the way. Then the next round of the 800. I'm happy to see this guy do very well. I'm looking for the next round when he steps on the track. I hope to catch a final. I think the schedule has it. I will be able to do that. If not, I'll be disappointed. But let me see. My wife has to work on Friday, so we leave Saturday night. Talking of 800, the women were interviewed. And MU Athing, what's her last name? I keep forgetting her last name. Anyway, a married name. She spoke. She's still fragile. I've been talking about her fragility. I've been talking about what she's gone through. She's scarred. That's a fact. You can see it on the interview. She's still young too. So media can be very intimidating, and I get it. Some of us are not used to it, and I get it. But there's something that caught I listened to the language and the body language. I think one of the things about coaches and managers and people whom you surround yourself, they can kind of buffer you from the, what I call the elements of this world. I'm talking of social media and hard questions. And I think it's good maybe for her, given what she's been through. She talks about the coaches very much. And Bob Kersey, he's been around. He's 71 years old man. He can be a grandpa. And I can sense that with MU Athing-Nikolayev, I think that's her last name, and that she's been buffered, she's been protected by this man who's been around, which is good for her, because remember, the world out there is very hard on women, very hard on upcoming athletes, and MU Athing has to find a space, and I can see it in her interview. She ran too flat in the early round. She makes it, which is a good sign. Listen, maybe I predicted too early that she might not make it the final. If she makes the final, remember I told you I'll give her the flowers. I'm willing to do that. I'm just concerned about her mental state. I don't think it's physical per se, you can tell. I think one of the things I heard in her speeches when somebody asked her about her mental scars and her journey through the fall and the injuries since last year. You can tell she's working on it. Good for her. I'm happy that she's figuring out, and I bet you she's gonna come back stronger, hopefully, and I'm rooting for her as much as I've talked about how she's gone through it. Maybe she knows best with the team. Wish her luck. Good to see MU Athing doing her thing. That's great. Early rounds. Hopefully we see the next of her in the next stages. Trust me, when people start to feel, I remember I've been injured. Remember, this sport is brutal. People don't appreciate athletes in track and field that well. Injuries can be a lonely spell where you're just by yourself, nursing a calf, a hamstring, anything. And you're just like, will I ever run again? That can happen when you fall. Talking of another lady, Juliet Whittaker. I mentioned her in one of my episodes on the 800 women who are coming into the trials. She's been out for 10 weeks. These are interviews I like. These are the moments I really crave to have a moment to talk to these guys. She's been out for 10 weeks after she suffered what she called a mental breakdown, where she had no regard for the sport. She's like, I'm too much identified by the sport. It became, objectively, she says, on paper, she looked great, but internally she wasn't. So she had to really take what I call sabbatical. Good for this woman. Listen, mental health, to be honest with you, as I say every time, takes paramount. I'm a big fan of it. And so she spoke, man, this is the eloquence of women who have really grown in the sport. She spoke so well, I was like, that is the moment I want to be close and listen, because to me it's like the gospel. It's not that I'm trying to get so much, but I want to hear the humanity. She spoke from her heart, where she talks of family healing around, where she was getting family surrounding and the healing and identity and figuring out who she is, because she had become the sport. You can always become the art you're doing. You become what you do, and people identify you as that. That's unhealthy. So she had to really detach herself, take what we call wilderness, 40 days in the wilderness, and hopefully find her. She did that. To see her saying that she's been training for 4 weeks, and she came back here and she's going through the early rounds, and she has that connection again, the passion. That's what I'm advocating here, the passion. And I think this media coverage, this post-race moment, I am promoting here a channel I've been following around, letsrun.com. They are incredible. They've done a good job. I'll give them that love, because that's where I go to hear how people are looking at athletes with compassion. I think that's what sometimes we need to invest in. Looking at these young women and young men with a sense that they have humanity, they have a soul. And to hear Julia Whittaker speak about her journey and how she's rediscovering the passion and love for the sport is a good thing in the 800. And this was an 800 moment in Korea where we were saying, you know what, let's talk about what is good, and let's talk about what is kind of human core values. And I think I really appreciate Donovan. MU Athing, seeing her speak after the race was great, and that's what we want to hear. Sometimes it's not just a matter of running good time. It's what is it that you are working with? And that really gives us something to say, well, let's be patient. And I'm patient in MU Athing as she does her thing. And Whittaker Juliet, 800 meters. This was the call, and this was the wrap up from Eugene on this process of saying to Korea, announcing first day of US trials. I'll see you on the other side of the pillow. More to come.